that's the dinner of today with some lychee. We're going to talk about CSI a little more, London Calling. Mostly I'm going to talk about some horseradish in various forms. And you can see I've mixed up a little bit of wasabi there. And there's the ingredients and the nutrition information, which doesn't really have very much of anything. So why would that be my diet tip of the day? Well, horseradish is actually pretty good for you, and it's.
You actually got that open.
I did. So, I guess I should show you my outfit for today, because well, you can probably see I'm wearing some little pants and.
It's Valentine's Day, so we're both wearing.
So we're wearing red. Yeah.
Right.
And I don't think that James is going to have wasabi with his sushi.
First time I ever had wasabi, I didn't know what it was.
I know everyone does it.
Restaurant.
It's such an exciting color.
Holy smokes!
You're thinking, oh, this will be like pistachio pudding or something. Well, no, it won't. So I'm actually not quite finished watching London Calling. James came a calling while I was watching it, and so we went out for a walk.
Nice walk.
Yep.
It sounds a little bit windy, but it was relatively calm when we started out. Picked up a little bit.
So
it was very pleasant.
And I returned Secret Mall Apartment because somebody else had put it on hold. So
it's interesting. Like they must have heard about it or something like that.
And they must have. So I'm going to put a little bit of wasabi on mine to eat, but I didn't mix up much. It's great to buy wasabi powder and just mix it up yourself because
cheaper.
Yeah, way cheaper. And you mix up only about as much as you're going to use, and you won't use much if you've ever had wasabi before. So now if you find wasabi too hot, you can always just buy some of this. That's a good way to
substitute.
Yeah, or you can buy the horseradish. Just you can avoid all the other additional, like if you looked at the ingredients on this one, it contains it contains mustard, but that's good. Corn flour, cornstarch, and a bunch of yellow number 5 and blue number, and maybe you don't want that in your diet, right?
That sounds scary.
Yeah. So I had it around. I thought, well, I may as well make some. But I mean, this too has other things in it: sugar, artificial flavor, titanium dioxide, sodium benzoate.
It sounds like something that would turn you into superheroes, or else corpse.
So really, the best thing to do, you can get these horseradish roots. Well, the best thing is to grow it yourself, which James' dad used to do, and he'd always ask me, every time I put in a garden, he'd ask, did you put in horseradish? Because he liked growing horseradish. And he realized it was very healthy for a person to eat horseradish.
99 and a half years old.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say that was these key to that long life. I don't think it hurt. He'd eat a little saucer full of onions, I think, pretty well every day.
Yep. Cottage cheese and chopped green onions. Yep. Every day. That's what he had for breakfast.
The cottage cheese would
buffer the onions. Yeah. So, I don't know. And that's a breakfast somebody could eat, whether they're ketogenic or not. You just have to get the 0% milk fat cottage cheese, and then you can eat that if you're keto. So that's a pretty healthy breakfast. Now this is a bit tastier, and what I did to make this stuff. So, I was going to say with the horseradish, you can buy it from Save On Foods. And Save On Foods, there's lots of, you can buy the root, the actual root from Save On Foods. And then you can make your own something like wasabi, and maybe you want to use pistachios. Blend that in, for the color. Wouldn't that be nice? Healthy and tasty. So, just a little suggestion. But what I made for how do you like this sushi? Yeah. This is the easiest sushi to make once you start making your own kimchi. And you've seen me make it several times now while I've come out. Or at least sat with the bowl and then went back inside and made it. It's very easy to make kimchi. So this one has the carrots in it. I put it in. So
Nice and
yeah,
healthy.
it is nice. So it
Sweet.
has the daikon radish and the carrots. So it's actually very traditional, besides the fact that it doesn't have any fish stuff in it. So this is
Raw fish is not my idea of a good
it's
time.
a vegan kimchi that's a traditional-ish sort of vegan kimchi. It's made, this one I made by putting the salt on, not massaging, just letting it sit, and
Kimchi.
then letting the salt drain off some fluid and over 3 hours. And then you rinse the stuff, so then you have more fluid to save for making soup or whatever. Because
Awesome.
it's great. It's very flavorful. And then you put
It
in
would be healthy too.
the garlic and the ginger and the peppers and the carrots and the daikon. Shred it up.
So the kimchi
And you
is what
stuff
you
it
were
into a jar.
massaging yesterday.
Yeah, you can
largely
do. You
while
can
we
make
were
it
doing
massaging it too, to speed up the whole process or whatever. And then you just taste it and go, is that salty enough or whatever? And honestly, it's just a matter of you make it a few times, and then you know how to make it. So really, you should know how to make it pretty well after the first time. It's very easy to make. I think James would know how to make it. He's seen me make it so many times that he could probably just sit down and do it.
But I used to help with the rolling, didn't I, and stuff like that. With sushi.
Oh, did
Long
you?
time ago.
Yeah, I think a long time ago we made sushi together. Yeah, so James has tried to learn how to prepare some things. You know, when we started
I'm
dating,
a good food preparer,
he
but
said
I
he
got it
wanted
very
me to
limited.
teach him how to cook, and well, that didn't really go very far. But we did go as far as sushi. So it's basically a little sandwich, and it's the perfect little sandwich. It's very healthy. You can put all sorts of things in there. Now I should point out that, so what I did is
So this is your basic recipe. When you say you can put all sorts of things in there, that's depending on what other ingredients you've got. And stuff
This
like
is my favorite recipe to make for vegan keto sushi.
That's top notch.
Yeah, because it's very easy. Once you make the kimchi, you have lots of kimchi. You just keep making kimchi, and you always keep having kimchi. And you could make this with sauerkraut instead, whatever. But kimchi is awesome because it has the garlic and the ginger flavors already in, and that's a great flavor combination
It's
for
tasty
sushi anyway.
and it's healthy because
And
the
the
bugs that
cabbage.
kill you hate it.
Yeah, so you have
Ginger,
the
especially
cabbage is
garlic.
very healthy for you, the garlic, the ginger, and the carrot. Yeah, carrots, a lot of people who are keto say stay away from carrots, and it packs a pretty big carb punch, and you're looking at a carrot and going, that's not that special, and that's going to cost me as much in carb count as raspberries will. Rather have the raspberries, right? Or
They'd
whatever.
probably be healthier.
Yeah. So
Although
a lot
carrots,
of
I'm
people who are
pretty
keto,
sure.
they won't want to go for the carrots, but you're not going to eat very much carrot in kimchi. So as far as I'm concerned, I think that it's fine to put carrots for myself in kimchi, and but I have made a few batches, and we'll see which James prefers and I prefer and whatever. But anyway, so then you take your kimchi, you take in a little food processor, you mince up some soaked and drained pumpkin seeds and sunflower seeds, and I've shown you, I really like, that's a very good base to use. So
that's in these two?
yep. And then
The mixture of the seeds
you mince
and
up.
the veggies is just spot on.
So if you have some peeled broccoli stems around, or even if they're, as long as the peel's not
Too tough.
tough, then you can mince it up and stick this in the mix, and I did today. So I put quite a lot of broccoli stems in here too, and then almond butter. Now I will say that my angels have been warning me against the almond butter. They've been sending me I think it's I think that's what they're trying to tell me anyway, because they keep talking about colony collapse disorder, and I've heard that almonds somehow have growing almonds have been linked to that, and I don't understand how that could be and whatever, but maybe I need to read up on it to know. But one thing I do know is almonds are different in terms of acidity than the other nuts. James has warned me about that in the past, and it might be just that I'm eating way too much almond with using the almond, because it's easy. And I get almond butter on clearance for really cheap, and so that's why I use it. I know that there are other nut butters available, like all sorts. You can get cashew butter, you can get pecan butter, all sorts of wonderful butters.
Try to avoid peanut butter. It's fattening, and there's a carcinogen in peanuts.
Well,
Presumably
aflatoxin.
peanut
Same as corn. You have to watch for that in corn too. Anyway, but what was I going to say?
butter. You're talking about
The
cashews,
different butters. Yeah. And one thing that really makes me wonder about, like, if I had a farm, with the dream farm that I want, boy, I would, especially if it was around here, I'd be growing black walnut trees, because black walnuts grow here.
What are
And-
those, juglans or something like that?
Niagara, yeah. And the black walnut's actually more flavorful than the walnuts you buy for Christmas. The black walnuts are the ones that you get in the baking aisle for baking, because they're more flavorful walnut. So if I had a farm and had a whole bunch of walnut trees, I'd be doing this with walnut butter instead of almond for sure, right? But I live in the city. I go to the stores and I can get almond butter on clearance for sometimes $1 a container. You bet I'm going to go for the almond butter, right?
They do
That's
grow
all.
around here. We used to
Black
plant them
walnut,
regularly
yeah.
for the city of Lethbridge. It's one of our regular features every spring. Excuse me, June we be planting. Along with quercus, macrocarp, and a lot of spruce trees. Ash trees we plant. We even plant a few elms. I don't think that was a good idea.
So yeah, you mix all that stuff together and then spread it on the nori, and then pick something to go in the middle so it'll look pretty.
Something red.
Well, today I
Or
used red bell pepper. But, I mean, it could be anything. You could put broccoli
maybe?
sprouts, or, tomatoes, or whatever.
And the
in
Japanese usually put
there. Lot of different things. Cucumber.
Cucumber, that's
Yep.
usually in there. But what you're putting is a bit more colorful. Cucumber's a little washed out.
Yeah, well,
You got your
just
choice.
want-
You
just
don't have
want
to do
something
what's
in there.
tradition.
It's something to look pretty. So, anyway, I was going to talk about Secret Mall Apartment, because I don't want to forget to talk about it. I've
Don't have
already
much
been
time.
rattling
10
on
minutes?
well, a little more.
Okay.
So, Secret Mall Apartment. So basically, it was a documentary, and I was watching the credits at the end, because I was really tired today, and I didn't want to get up to, I didn't do a lot of exercise today. I'm taking a bit of a break. We did go for a walk, whatever. But, so I'm laying around, and I'm watching Secret Mall Apartment, and I noticed that Jesse Eisenberg he must have saved up his money and put together, so he was involved in making this. But, what was I going to
If
say?
you were involved in acting it, I would guess it was a mockumentary, but
No.
go on.
So it's about a group of artists. So it starts out with 4 artists that start this, and it ends up 8. So.
Wow. Breeding like rabbits.
No. So there's this mall, and it's Providence Mall. And it's right beside this.
Providence, Rhode Island.
So it's right beside this area. I think it was called, the area of town was called Milltown or something like that. Anyway, and there used to be mills there that were functioning, and now it's just basically poor people, artists, bohemian types or whatever, that are living, well, not now, but at the time when they were filming this. So then this, I should say this was back in the 90s. So I think 1999, maybe. Anyway, so there's these artists who are watching this mall go up. They're living in Milltown. And some of them, they've been able to live there for really cheap. A bunch of them have gotten together, and they rented out a warehouse so that they could have somewhere to rehearse, like their band, and then put on gigs. So it's really great for them, really. But the mall goes up, and I'm just going to cover these over just in case.
Yeah, there's a lot of them.
They're very present because I feed them, so they come. Anyway.
Very enthused today.
Yeah. So the artists are watching this mall go up, and the one guy, he's teaches drawing, so he's taught some of the artists drawing, and he really notices some things he's noticed that there's this area of the mall that it's still being built, right? But this is where all the workers are putting tools and materials and stuff like that, and it never really seems to become anything. It's just an area where it's a storage kind of area, right? And they're building around it. So he notices that. And one day I should say that they're presenting it as though it was an art project. Secret Mall Apartment. But I don't think it was. I think what happened is they were living in Milltown, and eventually when the mall goes up, and then they decide, oh, we're going to make a Providence marketplace too, so it's going to have a big grocery store and this and that. And where's it going to go? Milltown. So they're getting evicted. And so I think that's really what this is you're evicting us from our homes? Fine, then we're going to make our home in the mall. So they decide they're going to try to live in the mall for a week and just see
how long they can get away with it,
right? So the one guy who taught drawing, he and his wife, they're looking around the mall. The other two, they did not find a good place to sleep, but
you were saying he's up in the rafters somewhere.
Yeah, like up in a crawl space above the parkade or something. Or something. Like it was not a good spot, and they did not like it. But the guy who had taught drawing and his wife, he wanted to try to find that area that he saw where the workers were storing things, right? So he's trying to figure out where it would be, and has flashlight. They have flashlights, and they're trying to crawl around in the inner workings of the mall, right? Trying to find this area, and they found it. And it was a lot bigger than he thought it would be. It was about 750 square feet. So good living space. And they had dust masks on and stuff. They're documenting the whole thing. So they have dust masks on because I guess he was thinking, well, this area, if we find it, it probably will be really dusty. And but anyway, that's where they slept. Since they found that, they decided we're going to keep coming here, and nobody was catching them, and so they kept living there. And they decided they wanted to furnish it. So they brought they went to the Salvation Army and bought a Chesterfield, and so then they managed to pack that up there somehow.
It involved going upstairs, you were saying, a little bit?
It was crazy.
Yeah. So it's great to be young and foolish and survive.
Yeah. So I don't know how they got the stuff up. Honestly, they showed them getting it up, and it was like how they didn't end up crushing themselves when they're trying to, because it's basically almost like a ladder that they're going up to try to pack this stuff up there.
The one that gets me was now you said a Chesterfield, but
To call it a staircase is
yeah.
It's a little bit of a reach. But yeah, they brought one of those china cabinets up.
It was,
so that it
broke. Yeah,
but
the glass.
they didn't manage to. They managed to not break it and stuff. So they've had this place pretty well furnished, and they had a TV and a PlayStation.
All the important things except two things.
Yeah.
Which are
a toilet and a kitchen. So
yeah, kitchen,
I mean, they had electricity to play their PlayStation.
Put a hot plate in.
Why didn't they? Yeah, why didn't they bring a hot plate or a microwave or something like that? But no, they had TV and PlayStation. That was their priorities, I guess.
Yeah.
So, and they're there for 4 years, and the guy was saying, well, we had plans to put in a bathroom and a kitchen too, but we ended up getting caught. But it's amazing how long they were able to stay there. Yeah, well, the one guy does, but the others were not identified up until they volunteered during. I mean, the statute of limitations would be long overdue anyway.
I don't know how it works.
I don't know. But the one guy ended up getting banned for life from the mall.
Yeah, just before malls go out of style, right?
It has an interesting ending because the mall, they were running into financial troubles, and they're thinking about turning some of it into an apartment, which is kind of cool. But
well, it's a thing to do. Why just
documentary
have the
itself was not
waste?
good. It was boring.
Well, I mean, it's artists. Aren't artists basically
boring? And
boring.
Their art project
their artwork had better
was not really an art project. It was fun. I mean, I remember when I was a college student, and even before, when I'd have to go places, and I'd think, man, it sucks that I have to walk all the way home in this blizzard or whatever, and I can see that there's a lot of dust under the stairwell here, but really nobody would notice if I just slept right here. I mean, I think probably everybody's thought something like that. But anyway.
A couple of times I slept over at the Indian Heroes office.
Oh, did
when
you?
I was working on the deadline. Yeah, I moved 3 chairs together.
Oh, that
2 like
sounds
this
horrible.
and one in the middle. Oh, it's awful.
Anyway.
Not recommended.
Yeah, but they had it really cozy in there. But whatever. Really, it wasn't an art project. It was living revenge. I don't know.
Something like that.
Home revenge.
It's basically just
but
behaving like the lumpen proletariat that Marx classified these folks as. Artists, literati, pimps, whores, thieves, so on and so forth. I didn't think highly of art.
So I guess that's all I really had to say about that. I'll get into this. So season 8, boring. I can't stand season 8 of CSI Las Vegas. Anyway.
Is Grissom gone by that time?
No.
Oh, he's still there.
But I just wanted to point out that one of the guys he was in season 8, the episode with the mob guy that Warwick is going after, and he has the barber chair and whatever. Well, one of the guys that the mob boss had tangled with in the past, he's talking, and he says, I'm not going to testify. If it comes to that, I'm not going to do it. I paid so much in plastic surgery and whatever. Just glad to get out with my life kind of thing. He was in this movie, so on to Calling. And this is it's pretty cheesy. I don't know who they're aiming at, because there's bad movie music in the background, whatever. It's just not good. But honestly, I'd put Secret Mall Apartment at the bottom of the stack anyway, even though it's maybe an interesting kind of story to tell, talking about housing and people. I mean, the artists really, they were fortunate they got to live in this space in Milltown for as long, or whatever the name of the place was, for as long as they did.
Yeah,
And
it would have been probably the 80s. There was access
90s,
capacity.
I think.
Well, Milltown.
Oh yeah, maybe so.
So, there was the big economic fallout with Ronald Reagan's big recession, the biggest recession since the Great Depression, like 50 years before. And it happened here in Lethbridge, a lot of excess capacity downtown. And there was a friend of mine formed a club, which included me. And we rented a kind of a loft upstairs. It was huge. They had mute. It was similar, but probably wasn't as big as. No, it would have been roughly similar size of space. Now that I think about it, just spread out in a weird kind of way. But they had musical instruments in there. They had a library in there, and stuff like that. So it was lots of place to play music, so on and so forth.
All right, so that's really all I had to talk about. You have anything?
Not really. I've got anything I want to talk about.
Okay.